Hi everyone, Des Adams with the second day in the series of the book on Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And in the last video I was just explaining the Mr. Barnes, who became a great partnership with Edison, and he brings up the point of the man who quit too soon. And I remember many years ago reading about acres of diamonds, where it actually happened apparently in South Africa, where a chap was mining and mining and mining, hoping to crack a diamond mine, and he gave up in despair, and the next person who came along and found one of the biggest diamond deposits in the world. And Napoleon Hill mentions this point similar here, that one of the most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. I know I am. On a few things I've given up when I shouldn't have. He mentioned this, an uncle of R.U. Darby was caught with the gold fever, and a lot of people, we had a massive gold strike here in Australia, in Victoria, and people were coming from everywhere, actually walking. Some people walked from a huge number of miles to get to the gold fields. And he says he had never heard that more gold has been mined from the thoughts of men that has ever been taken from the earth. And I think that's a really significant statement. But anyhow, similar to the story of the acres of diamonds, this chap gave up after thinking, that he'd worked so hard to try and find the gold, and he gave up, too soon. And then the next person that came along, they started drilling, and they took out millions of dollars of ore from the mine, because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. So in many cases, what Napoleon Hill is illustrating here is that success is often one step beyond defeat. And long after this, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. And he became one of a small group of men who became very successful at selling life insurance, and sold over $1 million of life insurance annually. So before success comes in any person's life, it is sure to meet with much temporary defeat and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a person, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. And that is exactly what the majority of men and people do. So more than 500 of the most successful men this country has ever known, because what Napoleon Hill has done in this book is he's researched some of the most successful people in business. And many of them, their success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. And so often you see that, where people have given up when they're almost at the point of being very successful. And I like this next point. He says, failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. We have a classic case of that in Australia, where explorers were actually going from south to north across the Australian desert, and they were retracing their steps, and they gave up and perished. They were only a short distance from where their supplies had been dropped off. And I think there's so many examples of this where people give up. So Mr. Darby described his degree from the College of Hard Knocks, and I like that. I think people have found that they have to certainly work very, very hard to get success. So with what Napoleon stresses is that with one sound idea you achieve success, and because of it, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they've been hiding during all those lean years. And in many ways this is an astounding statement, and all the more so when we take into consideration the popular belief that riches come only to those who work hard and long. When you begin to think and grow rich, you will observe that riches begin with a state of mind, with definite purpose, with little or no hard work. You and every other person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire that state of mind which will attract riches. So really what in essence he's saying is that all the research he's done with these 100 odd very successful people is that the thought was there first, and it came before the success. In other words, they laid out, and one of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiarity with the word impossible. He knows all the rules which will not work. But that is so true, because I mean, you've only got to turn on any sort of news broadcast and see that the negativity is continually bombarding us. So, and what Napoleon says, this book was written for those who seek the rules which have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on these rules. Success comes to those who become success conscious. And another weakness he found in altogether too many people is the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. And I think that's so true. We tend to reflect on things and judge them based on our own beliefs without thinking deeper about it. And yet some persons who read this will believe that they cannot think and grow rich because their thought habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure and defeat. And I understand for people in that situation it must be very, very hard for them, but the key to it is the thought that goes into becoming successful and working on things. And I'll finish on that point today, and as I said previously, I've learned a lot in our sales vision training, and I love mixing with such a wonderful, encouraging group of people. And Vincent Ortega has a fantastic vision. You're going to see a lot more of sales vision right across the internet. He has some exciting things, and at the moment he's been guiding us on cryptocurrency, and I've had a very, very successful week on that, and I look forward to many, many more fantastic adventures. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.